Hello, everyone. Welcome to Songwriter Sunday. My name is Eric Engblade, and I'm very excited to be here at the People's Cider Company in downtown Grand Rapids, Michigan. How y'all doing tonight? That's pretty good for a Sunday. Nice. We got a live audience here on YouTube, too, and we're going to be talking for the next 45 minutes to an hour with my friend, Brandon Proch? Proch? I didn't know how to pronounce it.
But close. You were closer than a lot of people.
Better than... really, your name is...
I get Porch a lot.
The Brandino extravaganza. And I can't get that wrong. So why don't you go ahead and just like shoot us off a song, and then we'll talk about it afterwards. Sound good?
Okay, this is a song, and then I'll shoot off, and then we'll talk about it afterwards.
Uh-oh, don't do that.
Pop open a bottle of wine. Why can't things be just like this all the time? Why, baby, why? Oh my darling, after all this time I still can't believe the way you captured my heart, the one I wear on my sleeve, and the capture was mutual, miraculously. Now it's late to get back, everything is sublime. The thoughts serenity, it'd be so easy to find. I'm so used to heartbreak all the time. That's why I'll spend my days waiting for the rain, but the rain's not coming, the rain's not coming at all. And when I don't know what to say, you know I won't say nothing, I won't say nothing at all. my days dreading all that rain, but the rain's not coming, the rain's not coming at all. When I don't know what to say, you know, I won't say nothing, I won't say nothing. I spend my days waiting for the rain, but the rain's not coming, the rain's not coming at all. And when I don't know what to say, you know I won't say nothing, oh, you know I won't say nothing, oh, you know I won't say nothing at all. Grazie.
Awesome. Do you need anything down here? If I could. And that's number 3, right? Yeah, that's your loops and all that, right?
No, the main vocal.
The main vocal, no problem. Yeah. Well, hey, thanks, Brandon. So, first question that I had for you is your songwriting, how has it changed with the use of different effects, such as live looping that you were doing earlier today? And does that make a difference in how you think about it? Also, did it make a difference how you thought about it, maybe like when you first started looping? And how is it different now in 2019? Because you've been doing looping for a few years now. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think I heard word of you maybe when you were playing with like the Founders. You were playing some sax and some other stuff or whatever for the Founders Fest. But you know, I had heard of word of you back a few years ago. And so now, fast forward to 2019, how has that changed for you as far as like how you think about and conceptualize songwriting?
Kind of a lot. It's kind of changed a lot, and almost a frustrating amount, because I find myself now sitting down with just my guitar and writing a song, and I'm like, oh, that's a cool way this could move. Oh, it's a fun little switch up on the rhythm. Oh, but how am I supposed to loop that? Oh, how's that gonna work? You know what I mean?
So does that change it, like on the spot, your songwriting on the spot? You think, oh, I better not do that because I have to loop that.
Kind of, and it never used to, because this was never like my meat and potatoes of my act, which it has eventually become, you know. Mm-hmm. And like when I wrote that song, even though it's incredibly loopable, this was long before I even like thought about doing any sort of loop stuff, you know what I mean?
Because with that one, it's not integral, right? I mean, you could, to the composition of the song, I mean, so you could play that song, you know, and have it, you know, be just you and your guitar.
Right,
you know,
and I do sometimes. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Sometimes I don't want to set up my whole rig, you know, that I have either, because I've sort of made it. You, however, have made it kind of like a big thing of your. I mean, not that I haven't like started using quite a bit, but like, you know, now it's like people sort of expect it.
Yeah. It used to be like a couple songs a set, and now it's like maybe there's a song a set where I don't.
That's sort of what I do.
You know.
Like,
But yeah, it's definitely changed the way. So like, interestingly. Maybe not. I don't know. In these like batch of songs I've been working on lately, I'm really trying to challenge myself to not be limited by what I can do on the loop station. And I was kind of inspired by that concept by doing the Abbey Road thing, because a lot of those songs are not made to be looped. But if you just, I don't know, get weird enough with it and do enough math,
it's a lot of thinking,
you know. And that kind of made me like stretch my thoughts of what's even possible.
Yeah, for those of you playing along at home and out in the audience here, Brandon did a whole Beatles Abbey Road, but he looped the whole thing, and it was at the Tip Top. And I did a Paul Simon set before him, but I didn't use any loops. And then afterwards there was a Rage Against the Machine cover set. So it was a lot of fun. And it was when you were in residence at the Tip Top every Monday. They do a series of in residence thing with Purchase Productions over there that put it on. But anyhow, so and it was so much fun. Thanks so much for having me be a part of that, because the whole thing was super cool. It was like I didn't know what to expect, right? And then we got there, and he was like, "Well, actually, I'm looping everything and then I'm moving on to the next song before I perform it. Does that make sense? You know, so like, how many tracks are on Abbey Road?
16.
16 tracks. So he was like, 1 down, 15 more to go. And like, but he hadn't performed anything yet. He had just like set up all the loops and sort of like backtracked it all.
Because I don't know.
And recorded it, so to speak, you know, without getting into technical bit. Because that's another podcast about like how these rigs and stuff like that work, I'm sure. But yeah, so, and then it was so fun. So we were all just kind of hanging out and waiting for it. And then all of a sudden it came together. And
It came together.
Oh, bum bum.
Oh.
I knew you were going to do this to me.
You guys ready for this to come together? Why didn't I say that?
Oh, that would have been great. I knew you were going to pun the hell out of me tonight.
That's why they pay me the big bucks.
Yeah, I know. I love. That's why I hired you to do this. Yeah, tonight. No. Oh. Yeah. Yeah, that is. That's why I asked you to be here, and you graciously said yes. Anyway, so so getting back to that, so anyway, you were thinking about your compositions. I want to get back to Abbey Road, maybe put a pin on that like a little bit later. But talking about your compositions of your songs, could you maybe do one that where you were like, now you're maybe, did you say, did I mishear you? Did you say you were thinking about kind of going away from the looping type of thing?
Not going away
in your new songs?
But I'm trying to go away from thinking about how it's going to work here first when I write the song.
Right.
And I'm trying to stop.
And that's some of your new stuff. That's what you're thinking about like right
that
now.
Stuff's really done.
Unfinished.
I might play snippets of it in the later segment just for funsies.
Could you do something right now where you like super intended to use the loops and talk maybe about before we do it, talk about how you wrote the song intending on looping things?
Yeah, the next one is exactly that actually, and it's just like I find that I write the best music. I wish I would wake up and do something about it more often, but I write the best music when I'm like 70% of the way asleep. And like these ideas pop in my head for some reason, and like sometimes it keeps me from sleeping. But that's not the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, I was up until 4 a.m. just thinking about Beach Boys the other night. So
that'll happen, you know.
Yeah,
Fine, I'll do that to you.
Fun.
Nice. But I was just like half asleep and just like heard in my head this like really funky groove in just like a harmonized, just the word spectacular.
Yeah.
Spectacular. And I was like, well, that's kind of cool.
Right.
So I just like woke up and just tried to turn it into a song. It was like a super late night project, you know what I mean? And it didn't turn out anything like it sounded in my head, but it was absolutely intended to just be like this loop thing, this like instrumental
extravaganza, if you will,
instrumental-ish, you know, with one word song, you know, and it so that one more so than any other I think in the past. But then a couple of my newer ones, I didn't necessarily like write them in with the looping intention, but I was very conscious of like how's this gonna work, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But this one especially was just like supposed to be a loop song through and through.
Right. So digging a little deeper, you supposed to be a loop song. So you're thinking about like the different layers of the song, like while you're doing like, you know, while you're sitting there fooling around, maybe, you know, writing it or whatever. Right?
It was kind of a one piece at a time. It was a very obvious beat, and I knew the spectacular portion of it.
Right.
So I like came up with this harmony for that, and then I was like, okay, and now I just need like a bass line and a guitar hook, and we'll just roll with it and see what I can do over that kind of thing. You know what I mean? And this has turned into what it turned into, I
Sweet.
guess.
Yeah, I'd love to have you do it right now if you could. That'd be great.
Spectacular. 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 Spectacular.
That one's so much fun.
That's a fun one, man. Yeah, it's sweet. And I love how you modulate up two half steps or whole step. I mean, yeah, is it minor third? Yeah, that was cool. And you do that with a little guy right there, just with your foot, the little white thing, right?
Yeah, so that guy is really just a utility pedal that does whatever you tell it to.
Yeah.
So I just have that particular button on it assigned to effects up.
Yeah, that's
so
cool.
it changes it from the and I just learned that if I hit it 5 times, it goes to transpose.
That's
and
neat.
I just set transpose to up a minor third.
That's sweet.
So I can't go back now to
Right.
now that's just what the effects button does.
Right. Yep. Sweet.
Until I just reset the song and
Yeah, that's cool. Nice. So now you're thinking about your new songs, and you're thinking about, okay, I've done the thing where I'm trying to incorporate loops into my older work, and now I've written songs that are specifically to like the loop station. Yep. And now you're writing some new things that are kind of going away from that. Any particular like reason why you decided to kind of try something different? I mean, other than just to try something different.
I'm working on like, and this is a bold statement because it's easy to start songs, but I started like 6 over the past week.
Sweet.
Just to like try to be working on a bunch of different things simultaneously. Yeah. So one of them is entirely intended to be another loop piece. Oh, okay. You know. And then another is supposed to, I'm just trying to not even think about that, and I might just play a guitar and sing, and if at most, maybe I'll do a backing beat to it.
Yeah. Right.
You know, kind of folky thing. But I don't know, I'm just really trying to, like I said, not limit the song to like, at most 2 chord progressions that do the same thing. You know, like I started working on an instrumental one, and like it does that at the end of the chord progression, so I'm like, oh, how do I make that keep repeating instead of the whole loop keep repeating? And I'm just trying to like break out of like these songs being structurally as simple as this is going to allow.
Well, I guess, yeah. And I guess like going back to the Abbey Road thing, I mean, that's what impressed me like so much, where it was just like, those songs are not easy. And, you know, there are things that obviously that loop throughout the, you know, there's sections that loop. Ba-da-da-da. Yeah.
That was super easy. But like, by the time I was like,
Palthing Pam. Right.
That was like an excruciatingly long
setup
loop to set
process,
up, you know?
Yeah. because those songs were not written with the idea that
not at
we're
all.
going to
Not at all, you know?
perform this in any way.
You never give me your money required 2-3 track songs on this thing because there's so many different parts that I had to set it up to like change it mid song and like, you know what I mean? It was just that like, but it really challenged me to learn how to use this machine. And like I said, this is now what makes me want to challenge myself to learn to write songs that way. Just to write songs.
Yeah, I guess you could look at it either way. That writing more songs that are complex in nature, so you don't have to like, not that you're like, I'm not putting down what you do, but like at all, but like that you don't have to like use it as a crutch, sort of a thing. You know, I mean, and it's not that it comes off that way. I don't think.
But then I want to find this happy medium between like, okay, I can loop a backing beat all day long and play whatever over it, and not worry about. But that's only going to ever make as much sound as a guitar and a backing beat. And what if I want this to have a bass line under it? What if I want this to be more full? So I'm just trying to like really challenge myself and like do stuff with this that Abbey Road forced me to do that I wouldn't have even thought possible. But then that's like another
really cool
double-edged sword. Because like if you remember, some of those setups were pretty excruciatingly long. And for my own songs, I want everything to be as like I want to stay interesting. You know what I mean? So
right, because the Abbey Road thing was a cool hang. We were all hanging out, and it was an event. But like, you doing that every time you perform.
Right. Yeah. Like I don't want my song to take 4 minutes to set up to play a 3-minute song just because I want it to have more complex chord progression. So it's just like trying to find the best way to do it, and I haven't really yet, but I'm working on it. You know?
Yeah, I asked a question online if anybody uses loops in their songwriting, and same thing out here. If anybody has that and wants to kind of interject into the conversation, just raise your hand. But also, I always ask if anybody has any questions for Brandon or for I about songwriting or that kind of thing in general. So keep those sorts of things in mind. We're gonna have. A time where we're going to talk just a little bit about kind of another move on to a different kind of topic or whatever. So, but while you're thinking about those things, or while we're talking, you can think about those sorts of things. So, we had just I had let Brandon borrow a book about songwriting and got into it a couple chapters. Yeah. So, like, but I guess like my general question is. And I think I know the answer for myself. But what do you think about like that book or just songwriting books in general?
I mean, it's the first one I've ever dabbled with. So in general, my reference is 2 chapters of that book. But I've enjoyed those 2 chapters.
Do you remember what it's by? Or you don't have it with you, do you?
I do.
You do? Yeah. I had this. I think my parents at one point gave me this book for Christmas like years ago, and it's called The Complete Singer-Songwriter by Jeffrey Pepper Rogers, whoever that is.
Yeah, that's just it. I was like, wait, why am I taking songwriting advice from a guy whose songs I don't even know, man?
Yeah. Well, but what's cool is like what I
really
do.
Great quotes and like,
I was just gonna say like it's less about his advice as it is more about other people talking about songwriting. For example,
and it's really sound advice, all of it.
Well, I was just going to say, here's a picture. Here's what Paul Simon said. Talking about learning theory for songwriters. Like, is that a good thing? Is it a trap for a songwriter, or should you just not? Because in that, if you're aware of all the possibilities of music theory and know that. You might feel like you always have to use them, and you get too complicated and stuff like that. It's kind of going back to
it's so true. I'm like, oh, this isn't musical enough. I gotta spice this up. Oh shit, now I can't loop this. Oh, I gotta dumb this down.
Yeah,
it's just like this constant thing I've got going on. Like,
so little things like this can spark some conversation, or at least like kind of give a little bit of advice in different things. But I ultimately think that you just have to do it. I don't know about other songwriters in the room, but that's sort of how I've been, never going to get any better unless you just keep doing it. And it's almost like I posted a thing earlier on our Facebook group, which you can find via Eric Engblade Music, and then find the Songwriter Sunday group if you want to. I post multiple stuff in there, just little articles and crap. And I saw a thing that said something about is songwriting a skill or just like a talent,
right.
And I think there's a little bit of both.
It's a practice. It's like a part of your brain you kind of have to tap into.
Yeah.
And I'm even finding, like, the reason I started 6 songs in the past week is because I've done virtually no songwriting for like the past year, and it was really tough the first day. And then like the next day I came back to all that stuff and I was like, okay, this is flowing a little better. And then the next day I came back to that stuff and I was like, okay, this is flowing a little better. And even in just that like small snippet of sample space, it was like exercising that helps a lot.
Totally. Yeah.
So I just want to
trying to
hold myself accountable to continue doing it. So I'm going to do, it's not like announced officially yet, but in February I'm going to do a show that's going to be entirely new material.
Sweet.
It's going to be nothing, you know, some covers too, but like mostly original, and just like just to hold myself accountable for like, now I got to write 7 songs.
Yeah. Well, and speaking of February, there's this thing called February Album Writing Month, FWAM, and you can go on fwam.org. I like saying FWAM.
How could you not?
Yeah, I don't know if I can. FWAM. No, I can't. I have to FWAM.
FWAM. Yeah, you know FWAM.
Anyway,
yeah, that just feels wrong.
FWAM.org, and basically what you have to do is it's a songwriting challenge where you have to, I believe you have to write like something like 14 songs in the month of February. So it's cool.
I'm like, I wrote 6 songs in 3 months, man.
Yeah, I hear you. I know what you mean. I mean, I've written a lot this year, but I don't know how many, but like maybe 9 or 10. But like,
I don't know. I crock pot my songs pretty hard. You know, like, I have a chord progression now and 2 lyrics.
Crock pot?
And like, they got a slow cook.
Oh,
you know, like gotta let the ideas come to me. Like,
it's not a steam cooker.
I exactly. I'm not power grilling these things.
Right.
I'm just like letting them just the flavors marinate and like, what happens. But that's kind of what's fun about working on a bunch of songs at a time. It's like, oh, this is an idea. It doesn't work for this song. Maybe it works for that song.
Totally.
What do you know? It does.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I mean, I have notebooks of stuff where I've, the song is
piece it together.
Is shit,
Yeah.
but like, but I like the one line. I'm like, oh yeah, that works. Like, and I moved it and put it in with some, or it kind of started something new.
I do that sometimes too, and I'm always just like, recycling is good. It's good for the world.
Right. So fwam.org, check that out. It's really cool. Because you might end up getting like maybe 2 or 3 songs that you could use that. The rest of them might be crap.
And that's that's the way I'm seeing this. Like, maybe I only like half of these new songs that I do at this show, but then I can move forward with some stuff. Rather than like, I'm going to keep using Abbey Road too, but like that and like the Grateful Dead show I did, is like, I'm spending a ton of time working on one show's set, and I'm just really excited to do that again, but have it be stuff that is mine and that I can keep using. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. So. And there's always other perspective about songwriting. That's something I'm noticing too. There's never like when somebody says something definitive about songwriting, you always have to sort of take it with a grain of sand and take it, or with a grain of salt. I mean, and like and think about how you relate to that, and sort of, because like on the other hand, there's a quote from Chris Thiele, Thiele, and he was in the band Nickel Creek and Punch Brothers. He's one of my favorite songwriters too. And he talked about how learning how to play strictly by ear is great. I mean, that's what he learned growing up in like bluegrass circles. But like spending, a few college semesters studying composition theory really made the difference. I especially admire the composers. They have so much control over their ideas and how to reproduce them with an orchestra or string quartet or whatever. It's a completely different thing. Than just learning by ear, and you control your own parts, and it's just another way to learn. So there's always like a contrast. And anyway, thanks for bringing back the book, but you can hang on to it for a while. If anybody's interested into it, I want
to read that whole thing and like pump through those songs.
Yeah, there's some cool stuff about like business and in the studio, and like it's kind of funny that there's a surviving and thriving in the DIY age, but like in a print book. You know what I mean? It's a little ironic that's in a print book that you have to buy and not online or something, but whatever. Anyway, cool. So now time for questions. Does anybody have any questions for or comments or anything that you want to ask Brandon or I? It's okay if you don't. Oh yeah, big hand right there.
My favorite band. My favorite fan.
Favorite fan. My favorite.
The second time I thought you said favorite van. Like, what's your favorite van? It's probably like Dodge Ram. I don't know, man. Toured the country in Dodge Rams. We got a real attachment. Oh man, who's the biggest Fandino? Oh, that's tough. That's tough. There's at least a couple in this room. Maybe my dad. Everyone say hi to my dad.
Hey.
Maybe
Dadino.
you quadruple M. Maybe Pat back there. I don't know.
Anybody else? I think somebody's hand came up right over here. Fella in the black hat. Did you have a question, man?
What's up?
What's the genre of your music? Define the music that you make.
Typically, I use words in the English language. I don't really make them up. No, I don't know. I have a hard time describing it. I wish I had a more neatly packaged, like, one sentence for it. And if anybody wants to give me one, that'd be really cool. But I don't know. I always say it's a little funky. It's a little folky. It's a little silly. It's a little old timey. It's a little Latin infused, and it's just kind of all over the place.
Patty.
Absolutely.
The question was, do you have intentions of adding more instruments to your setup and your thing?
Yeah, I bought an Iwi recently.
A what?
An electronic wind instrument. It's sort of like an electronic saxophone, if you will, but
okay.
It has a lot of It's like a saxophone electronic meets like a synth.
Okay.
It's got a lot of different like sound patches in it, and it's got like a lot of different just parameters. You can alter how much the gliss is. You can alter all sorts of things,
Right.
And you can make it sound natural if you want to go for that. You can make it sound really electronic-y if you want to go for that. And I think it would just
Can you sample things and put it into it?
I can loop something, change it to a different sound, loop something else,
Dude, that's
change
neat.
it to a different sound, and I could just stand there with just that, and similarly, I also really want to bring a keyboard into the mix. I don't really know.
Like other
Where it would
people
go.
or like you?
No, like me.
Yeah.
And maybe it'd go like right. But like the same thing. You can, there's like 500 sounds in that thing. You know what I mean? So like it just really would open up a lot.
I got a question, follow up on that. So like is like stuff like that, do you think it's just like a commodity kind of a thing, like what's it called again? The Iwi? Is it more like for commodity, or can you actually do some real like compositions and songwriting on it? Like how do you think? I mean, what do you think about that?
I think it's sweet. It's definitely not a cheap instrument. For a good reason. It's a little weird to get used to compared to the like regular saxophone.
Mm-hmm.
But I only ever got it actually because Biomassa was doing silent disco at Hoxeyville. And I'd been talking to them about sitting in on sax, and they were like, "What if we can do a sax at a silent disco? Do you have an Iwi?" And I was like, "What? I can get one."
I'm
And I didn't have a lot of time to like mess around with it beforehand, so I sat in with them on 2 songs, and that first one was just me making like really ridiculous sounds. And like on the back of it, there's an octave ruler that goes across 8 octaves, and so like wherever your thumb is like what octave you're on. So you have to be really precise, or you can just hit a note and go. It's a ton of fun.
Yeah.
By the second sit-in, I actually had some notes figured out, and it sounded okay. But
Cool. Okay, cool. Anybody else? One more out there? Yeah. Yeah, you. Jeez. No, it's okay. Thank you. Yeah. Who inspires you as an artist, or and kind of in the world of loop, maybe, or and that sort of thing? Is that what you mean?
Honestly, that would be a really good idea if I did. I could probably learn some new methods and learn some stuff that way. I almost hate saying this because I always feel so pretentious about it, but I almost actively don't watch a lot of that stuff because I don't want to steal other people's methods, and I want to just like, how can I do this? What can I figure out? But I also feel like that's doing myself a huge disservice, and like if I went and saw Keller Williams or Tosh, Sultana once, I'd probably be like, oh my God, that's such a good idea. Now I'm going to do all these things. And
because you can do your own. Sure. You can do your own thing. I mean, I'm like going through a huge like Brian Wilson phase. So like, I I'm, obviously just kind of doing my own thing based on some of his compositions and what I'm hearing, But I think that that the more you can just soak it in, the more that you're just going to be, coming up with your own ideas. Because I think if you surround yourself around creativity, that whatever comes in is going to come out. Is what I mean.
And I do watch some videos. I just try bars and not like.
Yeah, but I get you though.
Watch Keller Williams videos all day long.
Yeah, you don't want to sound exactly like him.
I'll see a couple and be like, "That's a good idea." Oh, here's a bass on a stand-up bass on a stand. Maybe that's something I should do someday. It's like
stick.
And I'm actually bummed because he was at Hoxeyville this year too, and I really wanted to just like, "Hey, dude, let's talk about loop stuff, man." But I'm sure he gets plenty of that.
Yeah, I know. Sam, when I played Hoxeyville a couple years ago, Sam Bush was there, and I was like, "Oh my god."
Yeah. Oh, that's at Hoxie. That's how I know you, actually.
Oh, is that where you first...
And, I mean, I'll shamelessly say, like, that was another moment. You used some loop stuff in your set, but with the band, and I'd never really seen that. So that kind of inspired me as well. And I was like, this is really cool.
Oh.
And then this guy played Graceland, and I was like, oh, this is awesome. So then 2 years later, I'm like, come play Paul Simon songs for my Beatles show, because that would be awesome.
That was really cool.
You sounded great, and like the whole time, like people commented on it. Even I'm just like walking around like Mama Pajama Road, like having the best time, like listening to you play these songs. Like that's why I booked Paul Simon and Rage, because I just want to listen to music I want to listen to. Like,
yeah, cool. Thanks. It was so much fun. I hope to work with you again in the future, somewhere else, and do another show. So
I ain't done with Abbey Road.
Let's see. No, I was just joking. Do you have something else?
Most instruments, I've played trombone too, so like with like basic knowledge of like a type of instrument within a lot of different things, like most of them aren't super tricky to like figure out once you pick them. I'm not like good at them, but like, okay, this is how this scale works, this is how these notes work. But two things that have really screwed with me. The accordion is really freaking hard.
I got accordion on my
because you're triple multitasking and this motion that I'm not used to, and then I've got like 1,000 buttons to like try to make chord progressions work, and simultaneously have to play keys and also like remember that this is how I mix. It worked, but it wasn't good. I've done it. I've learned stuff on it. And I would love to like have one and spend time with it and get good at it. That'd be awesome, but maybe not. The flute, though, me and the flute don't get along, man.
Is it the same fingering for a saxophone, though?
Yes, and that's why I really would love to play it, because I think it's a great instrument. And I like 3 times only throughout life, I've spent like 10 minutes like, and I've got 0 sounds out of the flute, like. I have a friend who's like has her master's in flute performance and teaches, and she's like, one of these days I'm giving you a lesson and we're going to get that embouchure right. But until then, I would love for me and the flute to make amends, but... Cool.
Well, unless anybody else... Okay, yeah, we'll take one more. Do you prefer playing solo, or do you prefer playing in a band?
I prefer you asking it that way. Do I prefer solo, or do I prefer a band? Yes.
Yeah, why? What are some of the differences for you? And what,
solo
what are some of the cool things about both?
Solo is just interesting because it's a challenge to try to make as much ridiculousness and sound on my own as I possibly can, and it's like an entirely different level of rewarding when that goes really, really well. But I try. My entire goal in life with this is like match the energy of a band, but you just can't do it. So like playing with a band and getting to do those things that I can't loop, and getting to do those fun cuts and those stops and those like little things that I can't really do by myself is like a whole different level of energy. And I also play in a lot of different bands, so like the roles of what I do are different in them. So it's like it's really apples and oranges, and it's like I would be really bummed out if I stopped either. So I'm going to keep doing both, I guess. But I like doing the Brandino. I'm going to do the Brandino more next year for sure. It's fun. What's that? Cool, I will. Just now because you said that, I will.
let's see. Where can we find you online and all that stuff? Like,
all the places the
websites and
kids are
stuff?
hanging out. Yeah, there's the BrandinoExtravaganza.com. There's a Facebook page with
Extravaganza.
said name. There's a YouTube channel with very minimal content, but that's being worked on. I filmed some stuff the other day.
Cool. Cool. Yeah, we got some
Spotify.
CDs and some T-shirts and stuff like that here for sale as well.
Yep. Prices are not listed.
I got my
but
CDs up for sale if you were hoping to grab one as well. Cool. Well, all right, we're coming to the end of the show, and I just wanted to thank People Cider for having us. So we've been here for about a year and a half, I guess, doing a monthly thing here, and we're gonna change formats and think about kind of what we're doing and do some different things. So you won't see us in December, and we're not gonna do one in January here anyway. But we're kind of Sam and I want to. By the way, thank you, Sam, too, for doing all the video.
Yeah, Sam.
And making it look professional and.
He also takes really good pictures of me when I
Yeah.
play music, and it makes it look like I know what I'm doing. It's pretty cool.
Sam and I are working out what we're gonna do next with it, but I want to thank all the artists too that were part of the project, and I'm definitely not gonna stop. It's just it might kind of change. So about doing a live show once a month, we might not do that. We're gonna figure it out. So but anyway, so. Yeah, so just People Cider, thank you very much. Let's give Jason and Shane a round of applause here. Shane behind the bar almost every Sunday that I've done this. And then, and of course, yeah, the hat.
The glass hat.
Yeah, we'll toss the hat around.
What a total glass hat.
Yeah, we've had actually a number. We got 10 people watching right now online too, so that's pretty cool.
Hi, all 10 of you.
And usually we
That's
get
double
about
digits, baby.
and then throughout the month we get about 2 to 500 viewers or whatever on it. So which is nice. So it depends. It depends on the person. I think John Nowak is the winner on views.
Not surprising. Look at that guy.
I know, he's so cute.
I call him Johnny Loud Snares. If you've ever watched him play drums, you know why.
Anyway, shout out to John. But so I'd love to have you play one more, and then after that, folks, here we're gonna just take a small break, and then we're gonna play some more music for you. But we don't broadcast that online as a part of the show, so it's
Super exclusive.
It's super exclusive. All right, so I would love to have you do another one.
Man.
Do you wanna quick kind of do like a setup for it or something? We don't necessarily have to go too far into it, but just talking about your song before you play it, like you would at a songwriter in the round kind of a thing. Anyway, thanks everybody. We appreciate it. The hat's coming around. Thank you all online. We'll see us. Check it out at Eric Engblade Music.
This is a song that I wrote. This one is kind of an in-between because I had my baby loop station at this point, so it was really only supposed to be a backing drum beat as possible, and then you get to the middle of the song, it's got this one loop portion, and I eventually took it to this and just made it a little more involved.
Cool.
But the song itself, lyrically, is just about a friend of mine a number of years ago that kind of told me she didn't really want to be my friend. We'd broken up, and she told me she didn't really want to be friends and didn't really explain why. She was like, things you said. And I was like what? She was like, don't talk to me.
Things you said.
So I was like, okay, this. So I wrote this metaphorical song about being given a prison sentence with no explained length to it. Just,
Yeah.
just sitting there when is this going to be over? This is terrible. You know what I mean?
Cool.
So that's this song.
Yeah.
I've got a sentence. Not the kind my mama likes to say. More like a prison sentence. I've been locked away. When I asked them to describe my crime, oh, they wouldn't say. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Oh, have you ever had a sentence? Not a frame of time. You just sit and wonder when it's gonna end, and hope it's not for life. When I asked about a fair and speedy trial, they laughed so hard they cried. So hard they cried. Somebody help me. Whoa, everybody left me. Oh, oh, somebody help me. Whoa, everybody left me. Oh, got a sentence. Not the kind my mama's ever said. As I'm sitting here alone,
Wishing I was home, I miss my bed. And as I rot inside myself, I'm thinking maybe this is hell, and maybe I am already dead.
Yeah, keep it going for Brandon Proch.
And
Brandino extravaganza.
I realized the other day how much that reminds me of Sometimes I Feel Like I'm Dying.
Still is cool, man, and it was your own thing, you know? Yeah. So, hey.
I know that song at the time, okay?
Yeah. So, where are you playing next in locally? Or the next couple shows here, or whatever?
Well, Wednesday, I'm part of Zach
local,
Volkers and Friends. I'm going to be playing sax and playing that
Cool.
song, actually, too.
Cool.
And whipping post, ironically enough. That's at Elevation on Wednesday, opening for Desmond Jones.
Cool.
And then Friday, I am bringing this to Bells finally. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Opening for the All-American Funk Parade, which, if you don't know about them, A, they're like the best band, and B, it's essentially Joe Hurtler and the Rainbow Seekers minus Joe Hurtler, like members-wise, and it's just like the nastiest, silliest, funkiest get down. It's so much fun. I'm so excited.
Cool. Nice. Yeah, you can catch me over in Holland at the Park Theater on the 6th of December, playing with the Hoptown Rounders and Full Chord Bluegrass. Should be a lot of fun. So a lot of bluegrass and stuff like that. Going to be fun. And then a solo show on the 13th over in Osgood Brewing Company in Granville. I'll be playing there too. So yeah, a long time ago, but it's been a while. So anyway, thanks everybody, and we really appreciate being here. Thank you online. Thank you to People Cider. Thanks to Sam Cooper, and thank you very much, Brandon, for being here. We really appreciate it. Stick around, everybody.
Thank you guys all for coming.
Studio.
Aw, you guys.
Looks like technology works.
Every once in a while. Every once in a while, that's the bane of my show's existence.